Hi, this is ChikeepooMgn, and I'm going to show you how to do our Mickey or Minnie Mouse charm. It will consist of 3 different parts. We have the ears to do first, the main body, and the bow if you want to make Minnie. And I'm looking for my Mickey Mouse charms now. Oh, here they are. This is our Minnie. This is our bow I was talking about. And our Mickey Mouse. There he is. So Mickey is only going to be 2 steps. Minnie will be 3. Ears, body, main part, and bow. So let's get started. We're going to work on our ears. Right here. So, here's what we do. We're only going to need this diamond shape right here. And we're going to do like we do with the hibiscus. And we're basically going to make 1 petal of the hibiscus. But we're going to use capping bands and doubling it. So it's going to be very, very tight. So we're going to start with this lowest point that we have on our 5 point for our Mickey. And I like to set them up and pull them over. So we're going to start from our middle, lowest point of the 5. We'll start with the middle. Put it from that to the second one. Make sure we're doubling our bands. Second to the third. Now we're going to be taking our capping bands. I apologize, I have a cold. Stretching them over, and this is just like the hibiscus. It's really no different, except you're doing it all one color and you're doubling the bands. Push those down. And the tightness is where you're going to get the roundness of this ear. See how it's more rounded? It's because all these bands are doubled and very tight. But that also gives you the more potential of them breaking, so please be careful. We have this one up, this one back, pushing these down. If you're not sure how to do the hibiscus, you can refer to Rainbow Loom's website. They have a bunch of tutorials there, and then the hibiscus is one of the tutorials. This is kind of a rapid showing of it. Whoa! Alright. We are almost done. Push these down. Our final 2 bands here on the end. Those down, and here we have finished for our hibiscus. I think you can see that a little better, but it will make this diamond shape right here. On the very end, we're going to put our capping band, and we're going to do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to stick that on the end here. And that'll be our capping band. It's important you do it 3 times because it needs to be tight for when you attach it to the Mickey Mouse head. Alright, so now we're going to flip our loom and we're going to weave this. Alright. I like to make sure my capping band's a little up. That way I can distinguish, especially when I'm doing one color from these other bands. And we're going to be taking this top band here, going through the capping band, grabbing those first 2 because we doubled, up and around, and pulling that forward. Same here, these top 2 bands, because we're doubled, pulling them up, around, and forward. And take your time. These are doubled, they're going to be tight. Go back to our capping band, go through and grab those last 2 that are there, come up and around, to the right. Going through here, grabbing those bottom bands, hooking them to the right, grabbing the bottom bands again, and to the right. Now, these are starting to get very thick, especially this one right here, and these will be thick. Take your time, try to distinguish which is what. If you can keep what you've already done more toward the top, it'll make it a lot easier, especially when you're doing a single color. I'll dig through those, find the 2 most bands, which they didn't. Bringing these forward. This band gets a lot in it, as you can see. It's going to have a lot in it. So you want to dig down and find these bands. Right here is what you're going to find. So we'll go down through. Sometimes I'll hold my loom sideways to see. There we go. Up and over and pull it forward. If you have trouble pulling it forward, just work it out because it is doubled and put it on. Now we're going back through, grabbing what's left of the bands and pulling them to the right. Digging down to the bottom, pulling it to the right. Down to the bottom and pulling it to the right. Now as you can see, it's getting tight. So now what we're going to do is take this bottom one in here, pull it forward, down here this bottom one, and pulling it forward, and this will complete our ear. We can go get a single black band, pull these up a little bit, right here. And we're going to dig our hook down through, pull it over. We're going to pick up one of these bands and up through, and we're going to weave it to seal it. Careful pulling on your bands because you can break them. And now, what I like to do is I use a crochet hook to pull them off. Because it is so tight, I use my crochet hook, and I use the other end where there's no hook. It's nice and blunt. Oops. And I come up and through kind of pop it up and over. And it comes right up really easily because I don't have the hook. Kind of hit the points. Up and over. Up and over. And there we are. And here we have our Mickey Mouse ear. As you can see, here's our capping band, and there's our weave. And we're just going to leave this out for now. Now we're going to do this twice to make 2 ears. So I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Okay, so I have my setup for my second ear. I'm going to do, once again, a triple capping band. 2, 3. We're going to put it on this end here. Oops. And we're going to do it again. Once again, I pull my capping band up so I can establish it from my other bands. And if you have enough room, you can kind of like space them out a little bit to show which is what, which makes it a little easier. So I'm coming down through, grabbing these top 2 black bands because our bands are doubled, up and forward. Once again, coming down, grabbing these 2 bands and coming forward. Going back to where our capping band is, grabbing what's left of the bands, keeping them up and to the right, and the same over here. Up and to the right. Now remember, these are doubled, they will get tight. Okay, starting here, going to grab the top 2 bands. I think I have more. Sometimes it helps distinguish where those bands are. Pulling those forward. This one will be tricky, this middle one, because it does have so many bands, remember. As you can see, there's a lot on it. So what we're going to do, actually I'm just going to take that off since we're not using it right this second, is dig down through, hold on a second. Alright, we're going to dig down through, grab the 2 upper bands, pull these forward. Now we're just going back to the bands that are left and pulling them to the right. Pull up over to the right, up and over to the right. Alright. And now on the home stretch, dig down, get that bottom band, pulling it forward, digging down, grabbing that bottom band, bringing it forward. Now when you do these, as I said, they're based off of the hibiscus. You have to have the capping bands. Don't hook them together like in the hibiscus tutorial, because they only use 1 capping band for all those petals. We don't want that. 2 separate capping bands for 2 separate ears. Go down through with our hook, pick up our ceiling band, so weave it through, pull it tight, And now I'm getting my crochet hook and pulling these off. Trying to be as easy as I can so that I don't snap any bands. And there you are. Here's our second ears. So now we have our ears for our Mickey Mouse. And I will continue in another tutorial for the main part of the Mickey Mouse. Thank you, and look for part 2.